Welcome to the MotUS Edge, where we celebrate business, primarily youth sports facility management, leadership, and motivation. Co-hosted by Stacy Rowe, Cole Stott, Kevin Brubaker, and Casey Jones. We are here to fill your cup with knowledge, laughter, affirmations, and comfort knowing that you're not alone. You can and will succeed with the MotUS Edge.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the MotUS Edge. I am here today with Casey and Kevin, and we have a very special treat for you today. Miss Jenna Kennedy, our very own team member. She's here to spill all the goods on the team today.
The best.
Yay, I'm excited. I feel like I've been waiting to be on the podcast, but also a little nervous to be on the podcast. So I'm like, just rip the Band-Aid off. We're doing it today.
Now,
We are doing
Kevin
it today.
and
It's
I
going
are
to be
pretty
great.
scared because you're going to have more evidence that we don't know what we're doing. So.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, and I've had a fall or two in your presence, Jenna. I'm worried that may come up over this podcast. And so,
At a fall, you said?
yeah, we'll get into that later. So,
Well,
yeah.
I know it was recently Kevin's birthday about 3 days ago.
I was just going to say, and he's turned 67 or something?
I was born in 67. I'm not 67.
Oh, sorry.
So
That's right.
Just
The only
turned
way I knew
58.
it was his birthday because he got on a new shirt there. He's got a collar on it. So
Yeah, there's a few short months in the year where I'm 5 years older than Casey instead of just 4. So this is that time. So it's okay.
Is that really true?
It really is.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm 4 years older than Casey. But right now, I'm 5 years older than Casey.
Oh, I thought you said 4 months. I don't know what I'm clearly I'm losing
I
my
know-
hearing in my
I know
age.
with that hair loss that Casey has, he seems like we're the same age, but I am actually older than him.
it's not
So-
true. I've got a ton of hair on my back and growing out of my ears. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Jenna. Welcome, Jenna, to the podcast.
Oh, I forgot. Sorry, we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, she knows. I mean, she knows better than anybody what I have to put up with on a regular basis. So this is lovely for me to have some support here today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You just like Jenna because she pays attention to you. I mean, we pay attention. We just are also looking at our phones and have other things going on. And
Yeah,
so,
you're not paying attention. I can tell by the 45 questions that you ask after we've already discussed it every week.
I just want more detail sometimes.
Yeah,
So-
you're full of poop.
So
Jenna, tell us a little bit about, you were a cheerleader. So Jenna was a cheerleader, which is super exciting. So tell us a little bit about your cheerleading career and kind of where that led you in life.
Yeah, I feel like most kids, I started with dance. I think it lasted about a week before my mom realized this is not enough for her. She's distracted. So I started cheering probably around 3 or 4. That we didn't have spring floors then.
Were you
We
the
had
kid? Have you seen the memes with the ballet class and you've got all the pretty little
Yeah.
5-year-old
Not me.
ballerinas and the one kid is hanging upside down from the ballet
Yep.
bar? Was that you?
Yeah, that was definitely me.
I love it.
The same things happened at cheer practice, but at least I was allowed to flip my body around
Right.
compared to having to stand still. So when I started cheering, we were in the mall. We had a foam floor in the middle of a flea market, and it was all this dusty stuff all around us. And we would have practice twice a week. And it was right when this sport was really growing, probably 2000s when I started. So I cheered for about 12 years at FCA, went from, just tinies to being on senior medium 5, senior large 5 when I was 12. And then my sophomore year of high school, I went to Fire and Ice, which was in Pittsburgh. So an hour and 20-minute commute back and forth to cheer practice. But just a new experience, new teammates, new gym, and then cheered there. So I actually went to Worlds my first time before there was an age limit in cheer. So I was 10 years old. And then
Wow.
they decided that's not appropriate for 10-year-olds to be doing. And then when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, went back. And so I've had a ton of memories, my coaches just being awesome leaders and role models in my life, awesome teammates. My best friend, my maid of honor, my wedding was from cheer. So it's just brought a ton to my life. And now I'm super excited to give back to the sport, not just as a coach, but obviously working with MotUS and the Cheer Expo and CX Brands and all those different avenues.
That's pretty cool. We hear that story over and over and over of just the connection of athletes and literally they're lifelong connections.
Yep.
You know, you cheer with somebody and you grow up and you go through all stars. And then exactly like you said, these folks become, they're in your wedding and involved in your life and later on in your children's lives. And it's just pretty cool to see that.
Yeah. And it was so like great and special too, because I have like some really close friends from high school, but no one I cheered with went to my high school. Like my high school was extremely small town, 100 and some kids in a graduating class. So just meeting, people from all over, it made my mom upset when we went to sleepovers and she had to drive 40 minutes to a friend's house. But other than that, just being able to meet different people that I didn't go to school with and see every day was really exciting.
So it kind of got you out of your bubble.
Yep, definitely.
That's very
I'll
cool.
brag for Jenna a second. Jenna, how old were you when you were starting to compete double fulls?
Probably 10. Yeah.
Wow.
So she was one of those little in the gym all the time, tumbling fools.
It was when technique and execution wasn't as big of a push. So if you can flip and spin, your tiny body around, you were throwing it.
I have a better question. How old were you when you stopped throwing double fulls?
Probably 19. That was weird. The party trick went away at 19.
All right.
Although she tumbled in the gym the other day.
Yeah. Yep. Punch front. That's like my go-to when the kids want to see me flip. Like I can pull this out safely still at 28.
I think I did a back handspring on the trampoline when I was like 39. And that was it. That was my last time. I did do a round-up back handspring back tuck at a cheer practice. Oh gosh, that was probably even like 14 years ago, 15 years ago. But I did do a back handspring on the trampoline when I was like
I was
39.
29 the last time I went backwards and my shoulder popped out. And that was not new to me, but it did pop out again. And I was like,
oh, well,
you know
I've
what?
definitely gone backwards since then, just maybe not intentionally.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin's been going backwards in life. So, I mean,
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
no,
they
that
know
was
what
it.
they're doing when they start teaching you to flip at 5 years old instead of 25, because without that front, like once your brain develops, you understand like I should not be doing this. This is not safe.
Yeah, at 29, I was done. I was like, I am never going to flip my body over again. I have all these other great things that I enjoy doing, and this is just going to get me into some surgery. So,
Yeah, the body just doesn't quite handle it the same as you get older. That is for sure.
Plus, I
so
wasn't
Jenna,
good,
after high
so.
school, you went to college, and what did you major in college?
Yeah, so I majored in sport management. When I went to college originally, when I was my senior year figuring out things to do, I decided I wanted to go to the University of Oregon. And if you look at a map, that's just about as far as you can get from my hometown. Like I could have maybe gone to Hawaii, but it was the opposite side of the country. It seemed very appealing. I was going to do acro and tumbling there. They were beasts back in like 2016, and them and Baylor were going back to back. And I had a pretty, not like obviously nothing too crazy of injuries. I know some people have really suffered some big injuries in this sport, but I really messed up my ankle my senior year, and just getting back to being able to compete that season, let alone then trying to plan for a future. I was like, I just need to be done. My body's been doing this for 15 plus years. But I still wanted to go to Oregon. So I went there. They had an awesome sport management program. I got to go to a ton of football games. My favorite event to go to is actually women's volleyball. That place was roaring during volleyball games. So that was a blast. But then that check came out for second semester, and college was on me. So I was like, oh, maybe I don't need to be across the country and have to pay all these flights to visit my family. So I transferred to Slippery Rock University, which was about an hour or so north of where I grew up, and, kept sport management degree. They had a great program, and graduated there in 2019. And while I was there, I worked really closely with our athletic communications department. So prior to college, like cheer was my bread and butter. I was what I lived for. But I did a lot of sports just because the amount of athleticism cheer, like you build through cheerleading. So I did track and field and swimming and diving and golf. But through Athletic Comm, I got to really be like working with sports I hadn't played, like field hockey. I called stats for that. I was up in the booth during Saturday football games, calling stats and working with the guys on the mic. I got to do basketball, volleyball again. So just have always been exposed to a ton of sport in my life, and just love the competitiveness. But like college really I got to learn the business of it all as well, not just like from the athlete perspective.
So do you still enjoy watching all these different sports?
She still plays. She plays in the kickball league, man. She's crazy.
Yeah, any chance I get to be in a sport or watch a sport, I'm in it. Right now, one of my really good friends, she plays women's rugby, which I've never been involved with. And it's like fun learning that now through her and watching her play. We go to her games sometimes. So Corey and I both, my husband, he is a huge football guy, but we watch anything if it's on TV.
So I never had any interest in women's rugby until the Olympics this last year. And I can't think of her name.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Thank you. Yes. So I follow her and I think she's just a great personality and she was super fun and kind of got me interested in it. So I'm curious, do you have a favorite sport to watch on TV and a favorite sport to watch in person?
Yeah, so I love going to baseball games. They're my favorite. I grew up, like I said, in Pittsburgh. The Pirates were never good, but going to the games was always a good time. So I love going to the games, especially with my mom. Some childhood memories there. They made it to the wild card game my junior year. My mom broke me out of school, got me surprise tickets to go, just her and I. We ended up getting on TV. We, just had a great day. So I'll forever love going to baseball games. And then probably to watch on TV is NFL, just because my husband loves it so much. Like watching it with him makes it.
Go Eagles!
If I were to watch it by myself, it probably wouldn't be my favorite to watch. But, Kevin's watched a million games with him. He lives for football. So,
and I'm going to guess that Corey is not an Eagles fan.
He is not. No, he's a Bills guy. He bleeds
from Buffalo.
It.
Stacy is.
Yeah. I'm a Steelers girl, but we both do our best whenever they're not playing at the same time to rep each other's teams. So it's always good fun.
That's awesome. That's really nice. I try to talk to my husband about that because he's a Dolphins fan and he hates the Eagles and he just talks trash to me about the Eagles all the time. As a matter of fact, my wonderful business partners got me this amazing commemorative Eagles like Super Bowl football because, just in case you didn't know, they won the Super Bowl. And it's really awesome. I actually cried when I opened up the box because I had no idea and I was super excited. And my husband made me take it to work. He was like, you can't have it. You can't put that
not in this house.
I'm like, that's fine. I will take it to work.
I will give Casey the credit for that idea. And so, in case it wasn't me, it wasn't Cole, at least once a year, Casey comes up with a good idea. And that was it for last year. It was pretty awesome.
That was it was awesome.
Yeah.
1 year I had two good ideas and I had to skip
I look
the next
at it every
year.
day.
So
Jenna, you put yourself through school. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. At one point, I had a little bit of debt, but we're almost paid off. But at one point I was working at Under Armour as my first retail job. And I loved it, except for back to school shopping. If you ever pay attention to the fabric of the boys' Under Armour shirts, they're very slippery. So back to school shopping, those shelves just were all over the place all the time. That was never fun. That was honestly worse than Black Friday for me. I was tutoring, macro and microeconomics, in any class that you got an A or a B in, you could tutor. So I was like, I'll tutor anything. I got to make my own hours and help with that. I worked with Athletic Com. I worked at the Butler YMCA. That was my first ever coaching gig, the Butler YMCA. And what else? I think I only had 3 jobs at once, but I was busy. I was like, I'm not putting this stuff on a loan and getting stuck with it forever. We're getting as much as we can get paid right now.
Yeah, but awesome. Jenna is a hustler. And so she was making money in grade school. Tell them what you did to make money at the old golf course.
Yeah. So my grandparents, my family has had a golf course for now, over 60 years. So wow. 65 years it's been in the family. I started working there as soon as I could reach the gas pedal on a golf cart. Carts was my job. They needed to get washed and get put away. So, as any other kid would, there's ponds. It's a giant golf course. I can go wherever I want. So I started getting golf balls out of the pond, cleaning them up, selling them for $1. And then pretty much within the first week, a bunch, because all of the guys that golf there, they're a little bit on the older side. And so I was just everyone's granddaughter, so that no one was buying golf balls. They were just also putting the golf balls they found in this bucket to sell. And then they would also put money in the bucket without taking any golf balls. So I was making out on golf balls, and it was just a sign with like a range bucket that said Jenna P's golf balls $1. And I kept up that gig from 7 years old till I remember coming home like when I was in college in the summer and having an envelope of money with my name on it because they were still just selling the balls even though I wasn't there. So Jenna P's golf balls did great. I have a baby cousin now. Her name's Ray. She's 6. I think she's taken over that business, but
well,
I mean,
you should
balls.
get a percentage of that for sure because
Right.
You're the one that
Right.
created the business.
Yeah, they drained the pond. We drained the ponds 1 year. I had so many golf balls that I cleaned. Like, I don't think we ever had to worry about like ever finding any more.
So Jenna, you've had, that's a cool story, but tell us you've had some really cool jobs as well. Nothing as cool as working with us, but work for some professional teams and tell us about
So
that.
my college, they did such a great job at requiring us to get practical experience in the sport, in like the industry of sports. So, any college kid, probably the last thing they want to do is work all the time, but it was also a requirement for our degree. So we had to do 4 sets of 50 just practical hours with any business, and then an internship. So I did my first one with the Butler YMCA, and then I worked there. And then my second one, I actually did a 2-for-1. So I worked with a minor league team called the Butler Blue Sox. The first one was in like on-field entertainment. The second one was in like marketing. And then my fourth and final one, we had what is that? Not a job fair, but like kind of a conference where, also industry professionals were there looking for interns, etc. I remember this day like it was yesterday. We were taking a bus from Slippery Rock University to Cleveland and going to this job fair and like all this stuff. And it was a really big day. And I slept through my alarm, and that is not me at all. Woke up to a call from my professor, like, "Hey, Jenna, the bus is leaving." I'm like, "Dr. Crow, I just woke up. Like, I'm not going to make the bus." But I knew how important this day was going to be because of the exposure I was going to get to people working in professional sports. So I was like, I'm driving like crazy to make it there on time. I think I was 5 minutes late, but I was too late to sign up for any of the interviews with these places. So, Tampa Bay Rays was there, New York Yankees was there, a lot of MLB teams. So I missed all the slots to sign up for an interview. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I drove here. I made it here. I have to meet somebody. Like, I need an internship. And they broke us out for an hour-long lunch, and every other person got a 10-minute interview. And I walked up to the guys at the Yankees, and I'm like, "Do you mind if I sit here and have lunch with you guys?" So I had an hour-long lunch and talked with them about all things golf, baseball. I'm just like trying to sell myself, but also not be like too pushy, because I literally walked up and just like they had a time to chill, and I ruined that. And at the end of it, they're like, "Do you want to come to New York this summer?" They had filled up all the internship spots, but they opened one up for me to go. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to make it happen. And they offered me an internship. So I spent my summer between my junior and senior year in the Bronx, working for the Yankees, going to games when I could, but selling on the phones, 100 and some phone calls a day. And that really just like changed the course of like all of my, like anything that was going to happen next was going to be because of that moment. I had that name on my resume. I knew how important it was. And I was just like, I can't not take this. So my mom obviously didn't love her like 19-year-old living in Harlem, but she was like, "Hey, we got to make it happen. That's what we're doing." And I always felt safe. So it was great. But it really did. It changed my life.
So the moral of the story is show up 5 minutes late then.
Show up late, skip the interview, and take them to lunch. Kevin knows. Kevin's taking how many people to lunch when he's trying to sell. So that's the way to do it.
That's a pretty awesome story, because you actually did, you made a mistake, and a lot of people would have, "Oh man, I missed the bus," and they'd have just stayed home, and maybe they got back on track later, but you didn't. You made a mistake, and you turned your day around, and that's pretty.
Yeah,
pretty
it was
cool
a crazy
story.
day. I remember they sent me like a Yankees ball cap just with like my offer letter and stuff. And I had I put it on my dog. I'm taking pictures of my dog in this ball cap. And I'm like, I'm going to go live in New York City. I'm the coolest person ever. Like, it was so surreal in the moment. And I couldn't believe it. It was such a great experience. I was selling there. I then, after I graduated, I got another internship then with the Charlotte Hornets. that's what brought me to Charlotte. Selling there, I worked there for a few years and just have been blessed with great bosses, honestly. Like my boss at the Hornets, whenever COVID hit, she did everything she could to make sure I landed on my feet. My mom was my first boss. Obviously, she was always in my corner, but I've always had great bosses and they've always helped me, even whenever the path got a little bit rocky, just find out what's next.
Well, we apologize up front for Kevin. It was a good run while it lasted, but
I'm not her boss.
Goodness.
Technically, Stacy's her boss. I'm a mere helper. I give her things to do because
I meant Charlotte. I was talking about Charlotte All-Stars.
Kendall's her boss. Although I think I might. I don't even know if I was on the first interview. So it's like it was so. That's a pretty cool story. Just how she wound up working with us, and so.
Yeah.
So
Kevin always, when we're talking to people, introduces us as, "Oh, this is my coworker Jenna," and I'm like, "Kevin, we're not coworkers."
Everyone's my coworker. So how many different organizations have you worked for, and how long were you at the Hornets before when you moved here? Because you and Corey moved at the same time. You were both in the same internship, and you were beating his butt in sales, and then Corey's like, I want to take this girl to dinner, but she's destroying me on the sales world. So
I after my internship with the Yankees, I did some stuff with the Steelers in the box office. I don't know if you remember, but that's whenever like mobile ticketing was really blowing up and people were screenshotting QR codes. Now they have the rolling QR codes. Stacy knows, with all the tech advancements, you need tech support. I was tech support there with the Steelers. My professor, Dr. Crow, he used to do like mystery shoppers, but for game experience. So I would be able to go just to a game in my normal fan clothes and like, Jenna, see if you can get on the field. And we would do, go all the places, try to break all the rules. And if they're doing their jobs, obviously, then that's a great thing. I write the report up, your guest experience people are doing an awesome job, but got to do some stuff with the Panthers then. Also got to be on the field because, they weren't doing their job there. So that was fun. I did that with Clemson University as well. That was actually their senior night. So I've gotten to work, with a ton of different sports organizations. The Hornets was, my first real full-time big girl job out of college. I interned with them in business analytics and database management, which is a mouthful. I much would rather have said sales, but I got the really techie job and I learned a lot. Like it was just about CRMs and marketing groups and who we're targeting, etc. But there wasn't necessarily like another job there. You know what I mean? That's like a 3-person team. So they offered me a job in sales just based on my Yankees background. And I was there probably 2 years, a year and a half, right up until COVID. So they did great. They kept everybody on payroll and on salary and all the things for COVID. But when you're in sales, that's pretty much a commission-based role. And I did not have the luxury of not making money. So I had to find something else. And from all the sports and all the things in the sports industry, I ended up in mortgages, which is pretty much the opposite. But still, like, I was on the phones, I was helping people, I was talking to them all the time, a lot of first-time home buyers I worked with. So it was still like tickling a little part of my brain, but definitely missed the sports piece. And that's when I reached out to Kendall, who was the program director, the general manager at Charlotte All-Stars, and was like, hey, I cheered for forever. I've been out of it for a few years, but I'd love to coach. And she was like, come to the gym. We always need coaches. And I ended up coaching with her that first season on a junior 2. And it was just great. It was phenomenal. I love being back.
I'm gonna take a moment right there to talk to our gym owners out there, because I feel like we get so much noise a lot of the time, but never miss an opportunity to talk to someone, especially someone that says they want to come and work at the gym and maybe they're not a good fit, but I can't tell you how many times I talk to people and they say they've reached out to a gym and they never heard back, or they've called and sent a few emails and they never got a response. And so it's extremely important. If Kendall never took that phone call, then Jenna wouldn't be sitting on this podcast today and doing all the great things that she's doing within Charlotte All-Stars and, MotUS and CX Brands. So it's important. I know you're busy. I know we get caught up in the day-to-day and all the things that need to get done. But when a person emails you or contacts you and they are interested in coming to work at your facility, you make time to communicate. Maybe they're not a fit, but if they are, it's great. It's one of the things that bugs me so much. I feel like when I talk to people and they say they never got a reply. It's like, how could you not respond?
And that's one of the biggest challenges in our sport, in our industry right now, is finding great coaches and great people to work in the gyms. I know that's a common factor that I hear these days from gym owners. So I think that's
a youth sports issue in general, Casey, honestly.
Yeah, and Kendall definitely took a risk on me. I mean, she was like, we have a spot on J2. I hadn't been on a level 2 team since I was 9. I knew nothing about level 2. I hadn't, just because when I got out of cheer when I graduated, I didn't even keep up with it. So much stuff happened.
Right. I was going to say the rules and the score sheet changed 400 times since you stopped cheering.
And so I appreciate, she had to teach me a ton. I was there and I was excited to coach and I loved the sport, but she definitely took a chance and just was like, maybe she'll figure it out here quickly this first season. And just being able to coach with her that first year also helped me understand who I was going to be then as a coach as well. So it was great.
So what levels do you coach now?
Now I am doing one team only because balance working in life. So I'm coaching senior 5. Last year, I've been coaching senior 4.2 pretty consistently. And last year I coached senior 4, and a lot of those kids, between the two teams ended up together and they're on a senior 5. And it's been great. I mean, we're hitting full switch-ups at the top. We're doing double downs. Nice. So I love, everything is new for the kids this year. None of them have ever been on a level 5 team, where most of them have been on a 4 or a 4.2. So we're all having a good time.
That's awesome. Kevin, why don't you tell us about CX Brands and the Prime Alliance?
So CX came from Cheer Expo, also is Cheer X and Excite and Excel Championships. We're doing 16 competitions nationwide coming up in December in Kansas City and Charlotte, all the way through all of our events out west in California and Nevada and Dallas and Houston, and February and March, literally in the Midwest from Indianapolis all the way up to Hartford, Connecticut. And some new events. Our end of the year finale is in Myrtle Beach on April 17th, 18th, and 19th, which is exciting and awesome. Of course, we have events in the Southeast like Atlanta and Charlotte, and Nashville Nationals is the middle of March. And then we've teamed up with 6 other event producers to form the Prime Alliance. And we have an event this year, brand new, in Fort Lauderdale on May 8th, 9th, and 10th. And so we're excited to announce that and promote that. And so our websites are for the Cheer CX Brands is www.thecxbrands.com. And then the Prime Alliance is www.theprimealliance.com to check out all of our dates and all of our exciting happenings. We'd love to have you compete with us this season. So check out CX Brands and the Prime Alliance.
And you'll get to meet Jenna in person.
Yeah.
Yep. Normally behind the judge's riser or at registration. So I'm easy to find.
Yes. So
she's pretty vital at these competitions. So.
Yeah, thank goodness. So every event with Jenna is better, although we're fighting over Jenna because we all have to split up on our triple weekend. And I think I'm going to win that fight because. So I hope she's going with me. So
because your phone doesn't even work and you're going to need technical support.
So anyway, I have a dad joke. Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Let's do it.
This is from Christy in Tennessee. So thanks for sending them in. Please continue to do so. What did the sun corn say to the mom corn?
Got any corn?
Where's popcorn? I do like popcorn. Can you go to a movie? I mean, I think sometimes the only reason I go to a movie is so I can have that popcorn.
100%.
I mean, a large Coke and a
popcorn.
popcorn makes me very happy. So I'm kind of wanting to go to the movies tonight, actually. So
We were talking about double good popcorn yesterday.
Yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
that stuff's
Love that.
amazing.
So-
That's like
So good.
literally, I've never been on crack, but I feel like if I would have been, it would have been something like Double Good because that
we
stuff
are
is
not
so amazing.
sponsored by Double Good, but
I
Double
feel
Good,
like
if you're
if
out there
Double Good,
listening, we take some free popcorn.
Yeah.
Love it.
If they wanted to make the bag smaller, because it doesn't matter if it's 8 servings in there, I'm eating the whole thing in one sitting. That would be great for me personally because I have no self-control.
Yeah.
I like to mix them.
Yeah.
Like 2
Yeah.
different flavors and mix them.
So
Too
anyway,
funny.
good stuff.
Well, if you want to send us in your favorite dad jokes, because we love getting dad joke submissions, that started kind of being a thing now. So you can email me at stacy@joinmotus.com. That's STACY, no E, no IE, just STACY@joinmotus.com. Or you can send us a message on our social media at JoinMotus. Send in your dad jokes. Thank you again, Christy, for submitting the joke for us today, and we look forward to future joke submissions. The dad jokes, Jenna, have kind of turned into a thing between Casey and Kevin.
All these dads are holding it down.
We are dads. So
How come Cole never does a dad joke? I mean, not that he's as good as me or Casey.
I feel like when I did, when Cole and I did a podcast, it just came out, or it just came out a few weeks ago. I feel like it was just Cole and I feel like he did the dad joke. I was like, you're going to have to do the dad joke because you're on here by yourself. And I feel like he did it. I have to go back and listen actually, because maybe I did it. I don't know. I don't know. He's just not as cool as you guys are, I guess.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what
I don't think he
say
likes
that
to
'cause
read
he's not on
anything.
here.
He's very talkative on the podcast, but anytime you give us a podcast plan, it's like, cool.
I'm not sure he knows how to read.
He's like,
He's
somebody else do that.
Yeah, he doesn't. He likes to just talk. I don't know. He doesn't
Maybe
like
he
to do
can't
that.
read. I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
That's what we thought about you from that Georgia twang that you have in backwoods Georgia. I'm surprised you can read. So good job.
That is my Matthew McConaughey voice. Thank you.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yes.
Sure.
So Jenna, now you've happily landed at MotUS and the CX Brands.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about that experience.
So when I started, I thought I was busy. And I had no idea what busy even meant to these people. When I started, it was just MotUS. There was talks of the Cheer Expo. But I've got to be here, obviously not through all of it, but for a lot of it. And so it's been super exciting and for me to look back on, coming up with that original Cheer Expo logo that's now, formed into everything of CX Brands. MotUS, every once in a while I was doing social media. I'm like, Stacy, I can't post the same thing again. There's no other way to say it. Like, join us, just join us. And now it's like, we have the MotUS Edge, we have the Business Expo, we have all of the affiliates, the Prime Alliance. Like, there is no shortage of stuff to post on social media. And I went from, being a one and only to having coworkers, which is so exciting. Corey, like, he's in an office and a 9 to 5, and he talks about like work drama, and I'm just here at home. But I'm like, but Corey, I have coworkers now. Like, it's not just me. And he laughs. He's like,
You need
your
some
life
work
is-
drama. We need to create some drama.
I remember on your interview, I remember just being like, look, I'm super overwhelmed. We have a lot of things going on. I need to know that you can just like do stuff on your own and I don't have to show you every single thing. Are you one of those people? Because if you're not one of those people, then this is not the job for you. I remember.
Yep.
No, I remember Jenna's interview because we interviewed, we put it out there. It was funny. So Jenna sent me an email after our very first MotUS webinar. I think it was like it was October of 2022.
Yep.
And so we did that webinar. And if y'all recall, just being honest, we asked every coach from Premier, Stingrays, and Charlotte All-Stars to get on this webinar. We only had like 15 members back then. And we're like, well, we can't do a webinar with 15 people. That'll look dumb. And so we had literally 40 people from Stingrays, Charlotte All-Stars and Premier, and
Kevin
our whole
paid
staff.
some people to get on.
I did, literally. So Jenna got on the podcast or got on the webinar and had listened to what we were talking about. I remember what it was. And then she sent me an email. And I don't know, have we even met then? I knew we hired you.
No, I've only been coaching at the gym for like a month.
She said, hey, I'm impressed with, I know Cheer Sport, I know Stingrays and Premier, would love to work for y'all. Are you hiring? I was like, we're a startup. None of us are getting paid. It's like, no, we can't hire you. The next day, Stacy said, we got to hire somebody else. Like, I got so much work going on. She's like, I can't do everything with Premier, and we're starting to do the Cheer Expo. We're trying to build MotUS. She's like, we got to hire someone. I was like, ooh, I know someone. But then we found about, I think, 8 or 10 people that applied for the job, and we interviewed the top like 5 or 6 of them. And I think, I thought Jenna was the best. Cole and Casey really liked her, but she wasn't working for us. She was going to work for Stacy. So I remember Stacy texting us while we were interviewing Jenna saying, oh, I really like her. But I remember the capper was in the second interview, Jenna learned something that Stacy loved and came back and asked questions about it. And I remember you being impressed by that. Say, what was that you learned?
I don't remember. But
No,
I do remember.
It was a software. It was a software of some kind.
Probably. I do remember at that moment in time, I do remember feeling like, my whole life I've trained and taught people how to, that's what I do, right? It's like, okay, here's this, we're hiring you. I don't usually just throw people to the wolves. I like to help them. But in that particular moment when we were hiring Jenna, I was like, I don't have time. Like, I need somebody that can literally jump right in, and I will show them some things, but they need to be willing to go figure it out on their own too, because I was figuring out a lot of things on my own as well. And I just remember having that conversation, and your answers very much made me feel like you could be that person, and you were. So it was great. And here we are now.
Here we are, almost year 3 for me in October, which is crazy. Like,
I basically feel like, I don't know, Kevin and Casey can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you came on board, we got things rolling, and then I got really sick. And the ship kind of stalled for a minute.
Yeah, we were keeping our head up by this much. Like, just the tip of our nose was up. And I'm like, Stacy's not here, Corey. I'm doing it all. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I've never worked a competition. I've only ever competed, and we are starting events. We're doing all these things. I'm like, so Corey, when we were talking about the podcast last night, he was like, what are you going to talk about? I was like, well, I can talk about, Stacy and I, we have because the mention about like, what's your day? Like, what do you do at work and stuff? I'm like, I talk to Stacy pretty much daily. I was like, and then I talk to Kevin pretty much hourly during competition season, because especially that first one, I was just like, the events are going to happen. Kevin's going to have teams there. Someone has to figure out what we're doing.
Yeah. And I feel like I came back after that season. I came back to the land of the living is what I like to call it. And then we
no
started
one could keep up with you.
We started going 120 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jenna was
crazy.
like, slow down.
It really is pretty crazy. I've been blessed to be a part of a lot of businesses, but I don't know that I've ever truly been a part of something that was just started from scratch. Even my gym, it was a gym before I bought it from somebody else. It didn't start from absolute scratch. So, really started. Kevin kind of said it. No money, no people helping us out. Everything is pretty crazy. So
yeah.
And Jenna's got to see most of that. So
yeah, Stacy and I too. Like, there was no system, so we're developing systems, and then like 4 months later, we're like, this sucks. We can't keep doing it like this. We have to redevelop this system. But it was just like we were learning, and my brain works totally different than Stacy's brain. Both are right, but it's like, oh gosh, I can't decide I can't tell what's going on. Kevin's brain, no one knows how it works. It works on his cell phone.
Yeah,
it does.
So Jenna, all right. So you've going on 3 years, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So what's your greatest experience in the 3 years, and then what's your worst experience? And it doesn't have. You can choose the order there. So
I loved going to the USASF conference my first year when it was in Nashville. like at that point, I was still just working from home. We hadn't done events yet. So I wasn't really exposed to so much of the industry, just like what we were doing. But that first year at the conference, just meeting people with Kevin, we worked the table for 3 days straight, just him and I. And just the amount of people he talked to and introduced me to, and just telling, just believing how great the events were going to be and how many people that came to them those first years. Like most of them we met at that conference.
Right.
So it was really such a great experience. I always remember that one. There's been a lot of great ones. Some of the worst ones truly are my husband and I, we worked the events together. So like Kansas City last season was a great event, and everyone that went there would probably say the same thing. But boy, were we working. Like he was running back and forth. I was doing 6 jobs at once, like registration, awards, social media, scoring. Like it truly was a crazy, crazy day. And it was that first event of the season that we were doing all the things.
I feel like the first event of the season is always rough.
Yeah. That was just like a hard day.
I wasn't at this event, but I did hear a story one time about you. You went to bed and the scores were one thing, and you woke up and the scores were another thing. So.
That first event last season was a hard one. But luckily, like I said, my husband gets to travel with me, so we got to talk about it, and we're like, okay, it's just got to be better tomorrow for Sunday. But I mean, there has not been ever a time that I've been like, maybe I should look for something else. Like I have friends that have been in 3 jobs in the past 3 years, and I talk to them about my like little dream job that I just get to experience at home, and all the stuff I get to do, and I feel so blessed all the time.
Well, we're blessed to have you. So, and
for sure.
Another thing, we've talked about him a lot, but Jenna's husband, Corey, he is an awesome guy. So
he is.
We're blessed to be able to hang out with him, and he comes and helps at events, and man, that guy can do it all as well. So
props to Corey, and he's a redhead, so there's that, because.
Well, some of our listeners might not know. I mean, Corey runs usually our warm-up room and helps with the awards, and so he's the only redhead that works for us, and so he usually wears his Bills shirt under his.
There's another redhead that works for you.
Who?
Chris. Stacy's husband.
But he's not as red as Corey.
I don't
know.
know.
Not anymore. He used to actually be redder than Corey.
You're right. I wasn't thinking about him being a redhead, but yeah, you're right. So goodness gracious. So
he'll be very disappointed. He'll be very disappointed that you didn't think of him as a redhead.
Well, he combs his hair, and Corey's is just a little bit,
Yeah. I'll send you pictures after this podcast. I'm going to send you pictures of young Chris, and his hair was like
Corey's. So
redder than Corey's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, it is great having Corey and Chris at all of our events. So it's good stuff. So
funny.
Well, Jenna's awesome, and Corey is an extension of Jenna's awesomeness. So
yeah, I would agree.
I would agree. We love you both for sure. Shout out to Corey.
Yep, it's a family. Like he has never been able. Oh no, he went to the Christmas party last year, but I think that Christmas party specifically just shows like, you all have your hands in so many different things with the gyms and all that. But when we go to the Christmas party and everyone's together, it's not like, oh, Cheer Expo or Stage 8 or MotUS or ASO. Like everyone's together when when we go to Knoxville around the holidays. It's just like such a fun group of people to be around too.
It is. It's awesome.
Except for Cole, because he's out on the call, so I'm going to pick on him. No, I'm just kidding.
No, probably. I'm assuming y'all know this, so probably Jen and I have traveled with Jenna and Corey probably 20 times over the past several years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we almost do all of our trips together, and so we all like each other, and we make each other laugh, and so. I mean, most of the exhaust that I've ever been was me and Corey running through an airport in Nashville one time, and I thought I was going to die. And that's a great memory that we still have. And so, but we travel. So ironically, Corey's boss is named Gemma, and his wife is Jenna. And I work with Jenna, and my wife is Jen. So it's like it can get a little confusing when I say Jen or Jenna.
I don't think I knew that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a lot of tongue twisters there. Yeah. So, that's pretty crazy.
Luckily, like Kevin and I, luckily I say, but we're in Charlotte, and then Stacy and Cole are in Tennessee, and Casey's in Georgia. So Kevin and Jen and I and Corey all travel together. And when Kevin says that we laugh a lot, it's mostly Corey and I laughing at them. They're not funny. We're not laughing together. They fall every single, like I would say at least every other month, one of them is going down. And we just talked about Kevin's birthday. Like, he's not 30, so you always wonder, is he going to get back up? But I watched the two of them just wipe out. And then Corey and I, like, your eyes get real big and you wait. But anymore, it's just like the laughter, I can't hold it back. I mean, it happens. It's more sad when it happens to Jen, but sometimes, Kevin, you gotta,
I get it. I laugh at Kevin a lot too, so I understand.
What's a funny memory you have of the rest of the group? Cole, Casey, myself.
Okay, well, every time Cole wears his glasses on his head and not his ears, I still laugh. Like, he always does that. You don't notice it if you're like talking to him, but then he turns his head and they're like up, and that makes me crack up. Casey, you do it sometimes too. And so that's just funny. I mean, we have our Monday. It used to be Monday at 1:00. Now they're 11, which really throws me for a loop sometimes.
Herding cats.
But it is, I mean, during football season, it's 15, 20 minutes every meeting where there's just laughter happening. And then Stacy's like, okay. And then Cole will spiel about something else. And Stacy's like, okay, we're getting started. And then it just goes off the rails.
Agenda, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Agenda.
It's always college football, never NFL football, which is what I enjoy. They're always talking about college football. I'm like, I can't be part of this conversation.
I can't be. NFL is not
football.
it for me. I work.
I know.
Sunday's a huge day in the gym. So it's hard for gym people to be in the NFL if you're all day in the gym on Sundays. And that's kind of how we all came up.
I told Corey, I'm like, I probably could have gone the first year and a half or two without having Casey or Cole's number in my phone, just because like I don't interact with them so much on the daily basis. And then I like looked through it. I was like, do I really ever have to text Cole? And every time I do, it's like, can you send me the card info? I need to order this. Or can you send me the card info? I need to do this.
It sounds like my kids. Sounds like my children.
Really, talked on the phone unless it's like, I need the card info.
That's exactly like my children.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I try
the
to,
Monday meetings and keeping everybody on task. It's a challenge.
Yeah, Mondays are funny.
I didn't even know we met on Mondays. We meet on Mondays?
Yeah, exactly.
For 3 years, we've been meeting on Mondays.
And occasionally, Kevin and our day starts about, hey, do we have a call today?
I can't tell you how many
times. Bouncing it off each other because it's okay to look stupid in front of each other, but we're trying to keep it together.
And then when we do our in-person meeting, I think Stacy and Cole, they do a great job of making an agenda of all the things we need to get through. And I know, like, I really don't even need to flip to page 2 because we are not making it there.
Page 2. Yeah.
But
there's this great agenda, and Kevin and I are worried about lunch. So
yeah.
Well, I love whenever we have those meetings or events and stuff because Casey and I, we go about coffee for coffee. And so he's like, anyone need a Starbucks? And I always know I can, send him a text of my order. Same deal. Because Kevin doesn't drink coffee. And so it's like, sometimes you just need a good Starbucks.
I don't really drink coffee either, but I have occasionally now. Well, I mean, I used to drink coffee like a fiend. I stopped drinking coffee. And then now I'll occasionally have the Starbucks. And Casey is always the one. Yep. Anybody need a Starbucks? And I'm like, you know what? I will take that Starbucks today. Yeah. I will do that.
That's my retirement plan. I'm going to cut out Starbucks and I'll be able to retire. So.
There's a difference between Casey and Jenna. Casey will drink his black and drink it within 20, 30 minutes. Jenna will get a coffee with so much stuff in it, and she can milk a coffee for 10 hours. And it's true. I mean, I've seen her have a coffee in the morning on a Sunday and still drinking the same coffee at the last award ceremony later that day. It's like, man, so she can milk a coffee forever.
Are you sure it's not just the fifth type
no,
of like
she can milk one for a long time.
Coffee?
She doesn't throw it out. She'll drink that same thing forever.
I had this really good friend.
You get so busy, you forget it's there, and then you remember.
Same girl, same.
I had this really good friend, and we worked out together, but he talked about how he gave up coffee, and it just changed his life. And it changed, like he slept so much better and all these great things. And he told me how he gave it up, and I was like, I'm going to give it a try. So I weaned myself down to literally like the last day I had a sip. And then I went 1 month with no coffee. And I did not notice one bit of difference. Nothing changed. Like,
Really?
didn't feel any different, didn't feel any better, didn't feel any worse. And I was like, well, hey, I really like coffee. So I went back to coffee.
I'm going to pick it back up.
Now, I only drink black coffee. I don't put any sugar in it, no cream, just black coffee. So it's really not too bad for you.
Casey, we've been recording this podcast for like 50 minutes, and I just now noticed how spectacular that's like a spectacular Stingrays polo that you're wearing right there.
I have been known to buy green and blue shirts over and over and over. I could go in my closet, and there are tons of plaid green and blue button downs that are basically the same shirt, just a little bit different pattern. So I love green. I love the color green. And
yeah, I just noticed. I'm like, he's like ready for Stingray's competition today. Yeah.
I put a little blue Premier on today for you, Stacy.
I love it.
Blue stripes. So
I think Jenna would agree that we're all kind of crazy and, you know, a little bit fun, a little bit much to handle sometimes. I try personally to be very patient, but everyone knows when I've lost my patience, that is for sure. But you know, I feel like I don't know, all of our crazy personalities, it just makes it all work. I feel like.
No, if there wasn't one of y'all, we wouldn't be able to accomplish even a third of the things. Like, everyone wears their hat so well and, you know, has their thing that no one else can do like them. You know what I mean? I think we were at the USASF conference, or no, Casey, it was your webinar that reminded me. You were just like, find something you're great at and do it. Then find people that are great at things that you're not great at, and, you know, make sure that they're hired and know their worth there. And I just think that is like this team. Kevin doesn't try to do marketing because he'll tell you he doesn't know a thing about it, and he's the sales guy. And I appreciate how much like ownership everybody has on their thing, and like that they appreciate then that, like, I do marketing and different things. Like, even though they don't know a thing about it, they still appreciate that piece of the pie as well.
Yeah,
it truly does take a village. And
yeah,
I'm convinced that if I keep going, I'm gonna find that thing that I'm good at. So
me too, Casey. Me too.
And
I work on my patience every day.
Well, Kevin helps you with that. And then I'm really good at deflecting everything that I'm not good at just to Kevin, just make it look like his fault. So.
Oh my goodness. Too funny. All right. Well, Jenna, you have any other secrets you want to share about us before we move on?
I don't. I'll leave it. Maybe there'll be a part 2. Got to save some.
We'll come back in another 3 years, see how we
I know that Cole isn't on the podcast, but I feel like we need to talk a little bit of trash about him. I feel like he's always like, hey guys, I got a 3 a.m. idea. And that's his thing. He always brings the 3 a.m. idea. And I'm like, look, we're still working on the first 15. Can you we're just going to put that aside for now.
Cole, like, loves social media. He's on it all the time. I don't know when, but Stacy, you'll laugh. Whenever he was saying that we should unveil Lucky coming from the swamp and through the woods of Deerfest, I'm like, he's lost it. He has lost it. He has not slept. He's been doom scrolling social media or something, because that cannot happen.
Agree.
Agree. And I remember
we had a side conversation.
Better than he loves any of us. So I'll tell you.
We had a side conversation, or maybe you texted me while we were on that call, and you were like, "That cannot happen." And I was like, "Girl, please, like that is not happening."
He wanted Lucky just like in a puddle, kicking his little feet or something. I'm like, what is going on?
Jenna, didn't you? Lucky was your idea.
Lucky was me. Yeah. You know, being an Oregon girl, I love a duck. And, you know, so many of the kids were already doing the good luck ducks. So it worked out perfect. And Cole just made it bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's awesome. I love Lucky.
When we hit it big, we're going to have to buy you a Jeep and outfit it like a Lucky wrap on it. Because I know everybody does the ducks with the Jeep. So you're going to have a company Jeep one day. I promise.
So funny.
That'd be cool.
All right, Casey, not Kevin. Casey, tell us about MotUS.
All right. Join MotUS. MotUS is a community of gym owners working together to help each other grow. As a member of MotUS, you get access to our Gym Owners Vault, which includes templates for every aspect of your business. We continue to add new resources constantly. In addition, you're added to the private VIP owners Facebook group, as well as the opportunity to join monthly webinars geared towards gym owners. You also receive amazing discounts from our Prime Alliance producers, the Cheer Expo, Choice Events, All Out Brands, All Day Cheerleading, World Cheer Company, and American Spirit Championships, and all of our awesome affiliates to include Infinity, Cheer Sounds, Bookshop Fundraising, and much, much more. As a member, the MotUS Business Expo Conference, September 28th through the 30th in Nashville, Tennessee, is included in your membership. It is full, but if you're interested, reach out and let us know. We'll do our best to see if we can squeeze you in. It's going to be an awesome business conference with 2 days of business development, leadership, and growth. And the Business Expo is designed specifically with gym owners in mind. This year, we're happy and excited to host the Pioneers of All-Star book, written by Miss Stacy Rowe. Launch. We're going to celebrate all of the pioneers in the book. We've got a ton of folks coming out to this event. So we would love for you guys to join us and join the movement today at www.joinmotus.com. That is www.joinmotus.com. That's a
You
lot
did good,
to say
Casey.
right
That was
there.
good. That was good. I
That's
think our
probably the
listeners
most-
have that memorized by now too, but it's okay. I love it.
Yeah.
I can't believe that the launch is just a couple weeks away, and I'm doing my best not to stress out about it. I remember when Kevin originally was like, we should do the book launch at the conference. And I was like, heck no, we're not doing that. We're absolutely not doing that. I'll be way too stressed out, because Kevin and Casey and Cole, they just show up to the conference, like they just show up and the conference happens.
It's magic.
And it's amazing.
It's magic.
And
It is magical. I appreciate all that you and Jenna do to make this magical weekend so magical.
I mean,
Can't wait to see
I might
the
give you a
fireworks
task
show,
or two,
the
but
drone show, all this amazing thing. Like, probably going to be some famous country music singers there.
I'm going to wear a suit and tie.
yeah, it's great. And I basically was like, Kevin, I can't put on a conference and a book launch. Like, do you have any idea the amount of work and effort and time that both of those things take simultaneously?
No idea.
So the book was planned to not be launched at the conference, if you remember. It's just a little fun fact. I feel like it's time to let the cat out of the bag, because the book was going to come out sooner and we were going to do a different launch. But then the book got delayed because it was so big, 695 pages big, to be exact.
Almost a big old 100-page book.
And actually, when
Looks
the
like
index
this
is,
thick.
I was just going to say, when the index, now that the index is finished, it is like 700 pages. But anyway, neither here nor there. Point is, it took on a life of its own and it got delayed. And I was like, okay, we can do the launch at the conference.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, Cole enlisted some help for the book launch party, which is super great. And I am a little bit less stressed out. So there's that. It'll be good. It'll be fun.
Going to be awesome.
I want to give a plug before we jump off, Stacy. If you're still listening, you obviously enjoy podcasts. And this was something that I am not a camera person. I was like, again, doing it, but not necessarily looking forward to it. But, if you are in the cheer industry, you have a story that other people can benefit from. So I would just say we have a form on the website. Go ahead and fill it out. Choose to be a guest and put yourself out there, even if it's uncomfortable. I think within the first 6 minutes, it was already felt like normal. Stacy, Kevin, Casey, they're all super easy to talk to. But I enjoyed it. I love doing this. And I appreciate you guys putting me on the spot and telling me, Jenna, you're, July 30th, you're going to be on this podcast, or else I would have never done it. So I encourage anybody else to do it as well.
I agree, Jenna. I was not fired up about a podcast when Stacy first came up with this. And then she followed up, well, we're going to do one every week. And then it's actually become something I really look forward to, because it's just hanging out, talking to your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually don't. I'm not really into this type of thing either, but I felt like it was important for what we were doing. And I thought, you know what? I can do this with my friends and my business partners. I can do this by myself. I would never do it, but with them I could. And here we are making us all do it every week. And we're having fun. We're having we're having fun.
It is no longer a chore to begin with. I was like, oh my goodness, that's going to be tough doing every week. Like I said, now it's truly like one of the highlights of my week. So
good times. Kevin,
It'd
is
be
it the
better
highlight of your week?
if Casey was blurred out a little bit. That would make it better.
Oh, geez. All right. So, Jenna, let's see. Who's my favorite person that I love to quote on the podcast? Do you know?
Oh, Simon Sinek.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Very good. So today's quote that we're going to unpack is good friends make us better people. They cheer us on when we hit bottom and keep us humble when we reach the top. So what do we think about that quote?
I think
Anybody?
it's great.
Bueller, anybody have a thought on the quote?
I mean, I've got I just think about it.
If your friends are not cheering for you, then they're not your friends. Okay?
Yeah, that's I don't know. I think that's a thing that, you grow up, and most of us come from a competitive background. And when you're competing and you have your friends that you're competing against, you often want to beat them, And then I think as you gain experience and you mature, then you are able to truly relish the accomplishment of your friends, your neighbors, the people around you. And I don't even remember the context, but reading something about, celebrate your neighbors. If your neighbor wins the lottery and they win $1 million, most people are actually upset by that. Well, why'd they win $1 million? Like, we deserve that. And that really kind of changed my mindset when I read that, of like, we should really celebrate all of the people around us, our friends, our neighbors, everybody in our community. So I think that's how we develop long-term relationships, is by truly acknowledging and accepting and really, really unconditionally pulling for our friends,
Well, I think too, I love the fact that, the four of us are really good friends. I mean, I know Cole and Stacy get to see each other more. I get to see Jenna more because we're in Charlotte, but the four of us and Cole and Chris and John, we get to support each other in the good and the bad. And, and I know that I respect Cole and Casey and Stacy so much because they have no problem complimenting me and encouraging me to sell and do better. And they also have no problem telling me that I need to do this better, or I need to help or grow and improve. And so it is, we are making ourselves better because of the friendship, but it goes both ways. And so I do value that. And I'll add too, I'm thinking about our spouses, so like the four of us. When you said cheerleader or best friend, I'm thinking, Corey is such an encourager for Jenna, and he's such a great guy. But I know Heather's the same way for Casey, despite his faults. I know Chris is awesome for Stacy. I know Jen is amazing for me. And so we married to some good people that are encouraged and are truth tellers. And so I love that about all four of us.
Yeah, I think it needs to be both, the
Yep.
cheerleader and the person that kind of smacks you over the head when you need it,
Yep.
So
yeah, I appreciate my friendships with the people most that I didn't grow up the exact same as, because, just surrounding yourself with people that have experienced different things in life and challenge your thinking and challenge you and, what you're capable of. The best friend isn't the person that always agrees with you and says yes. The best friend is the person who, challenges you to go past that. So I appreciate the heck out of my friends. And when I first heard the quote, friends and teammates were interchangeable to me. Like, I think for the sport as well, like when your teammates hold you accountable and did all those things, like you all just get better together.
That's right.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on today, Jenna. It was fun.
It was awesome.
I know how much work you have to do, so I appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here with us. And I hope that you had a good time on the podcast.
Awesome.
Yeah, be sure to follow us on YouTube at the MotUS Edge. Give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Join MotUS. We're going to be starting a TikTok soon too, so make sure that you follow us on TikTok and wherever you listen to your tongue-tied. Wherever you listen to your podcast, give us a like or a shout out. And if you like what you're doing, if you like what we're doing, we like what you're doing. If you like what we're doing and you want to hear more, let us know and tell your friends about the MotUS Edge. And hey, if you're a gym owner, join the movement and sign up for MotUS today. Thank you all for listening. We are excited for you to have the MotUS Edge.
Bye. Stay awesome.
Have a great day, everyone.
God bless you.
Thank you for listening to the MotUS Edge. We hope you had a blast. Join us next week for more on business, leadership, and motivation. Subscribe and follow the show where you get your podcasts. Subscribe to our newsletter at joinmotus.com. The MotUS Edge Podcast is produced by ClantonCreative.com.